Hello everyone, Jobe here in Davis, California, where I'm the Poet Laureate, and I'm doing a series of poetry videos taking us through the era of the pandemic when we can't have live poetry readings other than on Zoom or something, which of course neither is the same as a live poetry reading, but we'll get back to that. Wear your mask and be safe, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to the same exact lifestyle we had before the pandemic, but I'm sure the day will come when we have live poetry readings again, people sitting at least within a reasonable distance of each other. Anyway, this week the Swedish poet Gunnar Ekelöf. Gunnar was born in Stockholm in 1907. He didn't have too long of a life. He died in 1968, so he was younger than I am now when he passed away. He was born in a very wealthy family. His father was driven mad from syphilis and died from that. And he and his mother were not especially close. I'm reading some of this. He left home soon after passing his high school examinations, and I don't believe he ever lived with his family again, his birth family, after high school. Went to college in London and in Paris. He studied too, and he was a fan of the Surrealist, and he was a fan of T.S. Eliot. And some people consider him the first Swedish surrealist. I'm not sure if everyone does that. Robert Bly has written this description, which I'll read to you. Gunnar Ekelöf is not a well-adjusted writer, happy to be living on earth. His work makes people uncomfortable. Naturally, I like that. He tries to make the reader conscious of lies, of the unstable and shifty nature of human perception. He doesn't particularly bother about how many readers like his poems. I like that very much. A poem needs to say what you want it to say, whether anybody likes it or not. That's their perception. You have to do what you have to do as a writer. They do what they can or can't do as a reader. Maybe there's a connection, maybe there's not. Maybe it's their perception, maybe it's your writing that doesn't make it work. But whatever it is, we each have a job to do. That's my belief. So let's get started on this. I like Ekelöf a great deal. This first one is called Questionnaire, and it's in two voices, and for the second voice I'll kind of turn that way. Questionnaire. Let me have a sip of coffee before I start this. By Gunnar Ekelöf of Sweden. What do you consider your mission in life? I'm an absolutely useless human being. What are your political convictions? What we have now is fine. The opposition to what we have now is fine. One ought to be able to imagine a third, but what? Your opinion on religion, if any. The same as my opinion on music. Namely, only he who is truly unmusical can be musical. What do you look for in people? My relationships have unfortunately little or no constancy. What do you look for in literature? Philosophic depth, breadth or height, epic, lyric? I prefer the perfect circle. What is the most beautiful thing you know of? Birds in cemeteries, butterflies on battlefields, something in between. I really don't know. Your favorite hobby? I have no hobby. Your favorite sin? Onanism. And to conclude, as briefly as possible, what do you write? Why do you write? I have nothing else to do. Am I right? You make puns also. I do make puns. Yes. This is the third section from a long poem called Etudes. Each person is a world peopled by blind creatures in dim revolt against I, the king, who rules them. In each soul, thousands of souls are imprisoned. In each world, thousands of worlds are hidden. And these blind and lower worlds are real and living, though not full-born, not truly as I am real. And we kings and barons of the thousand potential creatures within us are citizens ourselves, imprisoned in some larger creature, whose ego and nature we understand as little as our master his master. From their death and their love, our own feelings have received a coloring. When a great liner passes by far out below the horizon where the sea lies so still at dusk, and we know nothing of it until a swell reaches us on the shore. First one, then one more, then many washing and breaking until it all goes back as before, yet all is changed. So we shadows are seized by a strange unrest when something tells us that people have left, that some of the possible creatures have gotten free. All right. This poem is titled Monologue with Its Wife. Monologue with Its Wife. Take 2 extra old cabinet ministers and overtake them on the North Sea. Provide each of them with a comet in their rear. 7 comets each. Send a wire. If the city of Trondheim takes them in, it will be bombed. If the suet field allows them to escape, it will be bombed. Now you have to signal. Larger ships approaching. Don't you see there in the radio? Larger ships in converging path. Send a warning. All small strawberry boats shall be ordered to go into the shore and lie down. Come and help me. I'm disappearing. The God in the process of transforming me, the one in the corner over there, whispering. Wow. I love that. You know, I could try and write poems like that, and poems like that do occasionally come to me, but it's not really my focus. I like to write on the very small things in natural life, but that's me. I'm not Gunnar, and I don't want to try to be Gunnar, but oh gosh, do I like Gunnar. These are 2 sections from a long poem called Variations, sections 5 and 6. I'll read them straight through without bothering you by announcing the numbers. I believe in the solitary person, in the man who walks about alone and does not run like a dog back to his own scent, and does not run like a wolf away from human scent, at once human and anti-human. How to reach community? Avoid the upper and outer road. What is herd-like in others is also herd-like in you. Take the lower and inward road. What is ground in you is ground also in others. Hard to get into the habit of yourself. Hard to get out of the habit of yourself. He who does it shall never be deserted anyway. He who does it shall remain loyal anyway. The impractical is the only thing practical in the long run. There exists something that fits nowhere and yet is in no way remarkable, and yet is decisive, and yet is outside it all. There exists something which is noticed just when it is not noticeable, like silence, and is not noticed just when it becomes noticeable, and then is mistaken, like silence, for something else. See the waves under the sky. Storm is surface, and storm is our way of seeing. What do I care for the waves, or the 7th wave? There is an emptiness between the waves. Look at the sea. Look at the stones of the field. There is an emptiness between the stones. They did not break loose. They did not throw themselves here. They lie there and exist, a part of the rock sheath. So make yourself heavy. Make use of your dead weight. Let it break you. Let it throw you. Fall down. Then let it leave you shipwrecked on the rock. What do I care about the rock? There are universes, suns, and atoms. There is a knowledge carefully built on strong points. There is a knowledge unprotected, built on insecure emptiness. There is an emptiness between universes, suns, and atoms. What do I care about universes, suns, and atoms? There's an odd viewpoint on everything in this double life. There is peace beyond all. There is peace behind all. There is peace inside all. Concealed in the hand, concealed in the pen, concealed in the ink, I feel peace everywhere. I smell peace behind everything. I see and hear peace inside everything. Monotonous peace beyond everything. What do I care about peas? And I will finish with this one. If you ask me where I live, I live right here behind the mountain. It's a long way off, but I am near. I live in another world, but you live there also. That world is everywhere, even if it is as rare as helium. Why do you ask for an airship to bear you off? Ask instead for a filter for carbon dioxide, a filter for hydrogen, for nitrogen, and other gases. Ask for a filter for all these things that separate us from one another, a filter for life. You say you can hardly breathe? Well, who do you think can breathe? For the most part, we take it, however, with equanimity. A wise man has said, "It was so dark I could barely see the stars." He just meant it was night. Poems by Gunnar Ekelöf. Thank you very much for listening. And my name is Job. I want you all to be safe, and we'll do this again next week. I don't know yet with which poet.